What is that?
Feedback.
Feedback from what? What would do that?
I don't know.
I'll tell you what would do that. This guy not fixing the radio. The thing doesn't even work.
No. It's not broken. We can't transmit because something else is already transmitting.
Transmitting from where?
What?
Somewhere close. The signal's strong.
Somewhere close. You mean on the island? That's great.
Maybe to the survivors.
From our plane? How would
What
they
kind
even...
of transmission is
It could be a sat phone, maybe a radio signal.
Can we listen to it?
Let me get the frequency first. Hold on.
There's no transmission.
Shut up!
The rescue party. It has to be.
Que qui que ce soit puisse entendre ceci.
It's French! The French are coming! I've never been so happy to hear the French!
I never took French. What is she saying?
Does anyone speak French?
Does anyone speak French? No, but I'm sure we'll all do a better job than Del Boy. Bonjour, hello, or salam. This one had me interested though. Je suis perdu. I wonder if that is connected to perdition. In perdition, lost, being lost. So I'm finally here, but glad to be back here, and I just experienced something I haven't experienced in a long time. I used to enjoy these, the civil twilight in the morning, AM, looking through the trees. So just looking at something like this right now. I think it's the 24th day of the moon, 24th if I'm correct, yeah, 24th. So it was just like this, it was just shining through, and I love it in the morning when it's still dark like this. You're looking at the trees and the trees don't even look green, they still look very dark. I think it's a special time in the morning, and there's something about that I resonate with, and I've always resonated with. There's something about that time. Everything else just seems too bright. Everything else just seems too hot. Everything else just seems too noisy. Everything else just seems too much. Just, yeah, maybe just too much fakeness. Too many people awake. The noise, the routines, the horns, the drillings, the trains, even right now I can hear the planes, which is fine. It's quiet. It's barely sunrise, but it's a very special time, so it's a gift. If you can experience that time on a regular basis, which I know some people do with their jobs, they're very fortunate. They have these jobs which they might not exactly be happy with, but everyone has advantages and disadvantages in everything that they have in life. So anyone that does have a job that gets them up this early and gets them to experience this, because I used to experience this when I used to go to the mosque, which was another blessing as well, but obviously I'm not going to go there. But yeah, this is a beautiful thing. I had no idea I was going to see that clearly through the sky. It was just beautiful. And there's something, again, it's just going back to, we're living in a time of these extremes, right? So I think that's why I resonate with this. It's not just that it's quite calm. There's something that apparently time used to be like this. Apparently the sun that we have today is not the same sun that people experienced in the past. The fluctuations in the weather, the heat, and I know some people are on the narrative like I was, that this is all manipulation by the elites, giving too much credit to these people who want credit for everything. No, there's actually something taking place within the earth as well. I just prepared some of this. I hope I can go through all of this morning, Sunday morning, and remember everything I wanted to cover. But yes, the elites like to take, the so-called self-labeled elites, because everything that we learn is through what they give us anyway. They call themselves the elites, and whether that's actually not quite correct, is another question. But yeah, they like to take credit for everything, there's a lot of theories. People are still trying to figure out everything. What's behind all of the changes that's occurring, both within the earth and within ourselves. Because for those who have been studying the Quran, like I have, and with some of the things that I've been sharing amongst others, yeah, that comes to mind a lot. As above, so below, as within, so without, which the Quran completely 100% agrees with. The ayat within us, and the ayat within the heavens and the earth, and the ayat within the Quran. So that's actually what I'm here for. So I'm going to try to stay on track with the Quran ayat. But there's a lot of things that I do want to quickly bring up before I go through them. So I hope you're all doing well on another day that's about to get very hot as well. So yeah, I'm very glad to be up this early and to get some of this done, because May, June, July, August, and probably even some of September, yeah, it's too difficult to do any of this. As soon as it gets to within the first few hours after sunrise, that's it, it's over. Beyond that, for me, it's just doing what it is that you have to do to survive, essentially. Make money, buy whatever it is that you need to buy, take care of jobs that you need to take care of, fix things that you need to fix. But to do this work, which I love doing the most, yeah, it's very difficult in this heat, in this summer. So for those who think that, yeah, it's more fear mongering, it's more pushing fear, no, the truth is actually it's more nuanced than many of us probably believe, because we're used to this. We're used to what the mainstream tells us, and then we're used to thinking that we're amongst the awake, the truthers, and that we follow these alternative priests as well, because they are priests as well in the alternative media. And we stop thinking and we just trust them because we get busy, and we start to listen to everything that these people say as well, and we can no longer think for ourselves. That's their signal. That's their signal. Which signal are we tuning into? Are we tuning into our own signal? Are we tuning into that magnetic signal within us? Tuning into the magnetic signal within the earth? Or are we tuning into their signals continuously? And yeah, just being fed. This is a feed, right? Well, kind of feed. And being fed what it is that the feeders are pushing or feeding us. Or can we think that, yeah, it's not what these people are saying, it's not what those people are saying, it's something a bit more than that, because they seem to have some truth and they seem to have some truth, and that's why it is very deceptive times, as it probably has been in the past a long time ago as well. And that's why it was prophesied for this to occur again when the world becomes like this again. So yeah, I don't think it is just fear-mongering. I think there is some serious wildfires taking place. And there's no doubt that, I can't remember what the saying is, but there's something that a shrewd person knows. There's a saying out there, I can't remember exactly how it goes, but making the most of a catastrophe. I remember listening to Patrick Bet David way back. This was 2020, before the whole internet and everything just got worse. Before anyone that you ever listened to just got worse and just weren't worth listening to anymore at all. Because it's just all drama and you don't know who to trust and who's sold out and what their agendas really are. Anyway, I remember him saying something that was true, which was something about making the most of a catastrophe, like how people did during 9/11 and even during COVID. I remember most people I spoke to when COVID first took place, all that was on most, and I saw people's true colours. I saw the people that I associated with, I saw their true colours. My concern was only one thing. What the hell is going on? Health, life, humanity, survival. But I saw a lot of people's true colours, and it was just making the most profit out of masks, making the most profit out of signing up to become a tester, all of these things. So anyway, the point is that yes, there's no doubt that even these evil people, they are making the most of a natural occurring situation. in my opinion. So yeah, there is no doubt that there are man-made fires, wildfires, but there is something else taking place. They can't take credit for what's taking place right now. No way. I'm not telling you any facts. I might speak like it's a matter of fact as well, but no, there's no way that these people can take that much credit for what's happening on the entire earth. No way. No way. The creator of the heavens and the earth, the creator of us, something amazing, something special, how we're designed, this life, as difficult and as dark as it can be, and as torturous and painful as it can be, yeah, there's no way that these people can take credit for what's occurring on the earth right now. No way. There's something more to all of this. It's like as if, okay, I thought I wasn't going to go into it, but I'll quickly go into it now. So the wildfires, yeah. Again, I'm not going to go through the news. I'm not really a news person, but there's some things that you just can't ignore. And I think I just read the other day about Italy. I think all 27 cities were on high alert or something, 43 degrees or something. And yeah, again, you just can't take credit for something like that, I think. There are some things that they can definitely do. But yeah, there is something else actually occurring. And it's a case from what I've heard. And again, I'm just going to put this out there very quickly because it's a theory and I resonate with it and it makes sense to me. When something makes sense, yeah, that's when I want to speak about it. It makes sense. You go back to the chemtrails. I mentioned this as well, the chemtrails. I was wondering for a long time, how come I'm seeing these chemtrails in all of these old movies as well? Right, so this is going quite far back. There's something about the cycle of this earth where we are seeming to reach a critical point. There's no denying that now. I know the whole climate change push, and there was the seesaw. Oh, it's all rubbish. It's all BS. Climate change. What's the other one? Global. I can't remember what the other name is anyway. Climate change. What's the other one? I can't remember, but anyway, yeah. So there's the seesaw that, oh, this is all rubbish pushed from these people to control us, to control all the resources on the earth, food, water, all of the essentials, to place us into smaller prisons and smart cities and the works. Anyway, most of you know about this. But it makes sense to me because of the Quran, the Ya Ma'sharul Jinni wal Ins, yeah, in istata'tum, that verse, for those who are familiar, 55:33. There's probably one of my favorites in the Quran because it's been the most important over the last 5 years, for me at least, cosmologically speaking, end time speaking. These people, NASA, they've never gone, yeah, but they want to go. They're preparing. These are all trial runs. It makes sense. Jay Dreamers is right. Yeah, he's right. He's truly remarkable, insightful. I believe he's right. These people are doing trial runs. So on one side, when we're getting the alternative media, we're like, this is crazy. This is ridiculous. This is mocking us. They've not been anywhere. They're not going anywhere. But it's more than that. They are planning to go. They are trying to go. But the Quran says, you will not go except by authority. So the reason why I bring this up is because these wildfires, it's clearly a case that the world is coming to the end of a cycle. Yeah, I'll say it this much. I don't want to say what most people have been also trained to become averse to hearing. The world is ending, the end times, and all of this doom and gloom stuff. But it is coming to an end of an era. It is coming to an end of a cycle. And I know a lot of people feel the way I do many times as well. Can it just come already? Can we just get on with it? Can we just move into the next stage? Can I do something that is real? Can I be involved in something that's real, even if it's bloody scary and frightening and just something different than this robotic thing that we are all involved in, and this deadening. Anyway, you all get the idea, I think. So it's real. Anyway, just like how the wars, when they were taking place, a lot of people were arguing it's real, it's not real, but yet there's victims, there's real devastation. So there's truth to all of these things that people can't deny. And this is where the deception is. Even when it came to during what they called COVID, people were dying, but what were they dying from? And how many were dying? You know, it's always the details and trying to figure out the truth. So that's why I think that saying, never throw the baby out with the bathwater, I just keep seeming to repeating it. And even as I'm about to go through the Quran today, that's going to be a very big theme as well. Not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. When we come to the Quran alone, which has its gifts, that we can dispel all of the falsehood, but don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, because there's a lot of truth out there. There's a lot of truth out there that isn't necessarily within the Quran. And I know religious fanatics or people that are still dogmatic, or people that are still or following some kind of cult, or feeling cultish, or needing to follow a cult, or won't like that when I say that there is truth outside of the Quran. But that's how things seem to become anyway. Extremes. It's these extremes, right? The seesaw effect, which I call it. So there is truth to these wildfires. There's truth, in my opinion. And you guys can, anything I say, it's not to push anything onto anyone. I'd love to hear if people know better than I do. And in fact, I'd be happy to be wrong. Who would not be happy to be wrong that the earth is actually changing like this? Yeah, I think it would be great news. But I think the earth is actually naturally doing its thing, moving in this, fearful, terrifying direction. But again, I'm here because I'm going to go through scripture, which for me confirms absolutely everything. When I'm reading the Quran, I see everything clear as day. I can see everything now, more and more each time. When I look at it, I can see, you know what, this is true actually. It's all here. We've been trained to look at these verses in a very different way, in a very religious, dark, and deceptive way, because we're still programmed with all of these lies. And even if we're not programmed anymore, or even if we're not believing in the lies, they're still in our subconscious. And because they're still in our subconscious, they still distort the way we look at things. It's an incredible piece of work to undo all that is placed within our subconscious. It takes a lot of work. This is only for the few. These ways, this spiritual work that people prize the most in controlling what it is that they believe, what it is that they think, what it is that they follow. I think it's something to be commended. It takes an immense amount of energy. So that's what I meant by, yes, the world is on fire, but what about the fire within me? What about the fire within you? What about the fire within us? I just mentioned on the Telegram chat yesterday, I'm journaling more. I bought my first dumb phone, and I've been connecting with nature way more than ever before. And maybe partly in that, maybe I have become a little bit, maybe I've exposed myself to too much heat, so I'm going to calm down a little bit. And I think everyone should be very careful in these times with your exercise routines, just not overdoing yourself. I think everyone, I think this is what it is, connecting with that signal within you. Are we still following things that we see on the social media, and that's why we think we need to do more, we need to work harder, we need to look better, we need to do all of this? Or are we doing things actually because, no, this is actually what I'm meant to do, this is what I want to do, and this is actually what my body needs, this is actually what my mind and my spirit needs, as opposed to what everyone or things around us are influencing us to do, which is actually harming us. So yes, the earth is on fire, and I think I'm on fire as well. I think we're all on fire to different degrees. Heat deaths, this was brought up as well by Jay Dreamers, and I thought, he's right. When you look at the terminology, you realize that yeah, there is something about this. I mean, the domes, the heat domes. Yeah, this is a new phrase. Heat domes. What's that about? It's going back to the whole cosmology. It's going back to these people trying to escape. Okay, so I didn't finish what I was saying. These people trying to escape. Let me bring up the verse actually. Okay, because I just assumed that anyone listening will have listened to things that I've repeated much in the past. Let me close this. Right, so yeah, the heat deaths. Okay, so the heat domes, the reason why I was talking about that. Let me close this as well. So yeah, before in the past it was simply a case that people are getting strokes, right? What did we call it? Yeah, just being exposed to too much heat. Heat exhaustion, that's the word I was looking for. No caffeine, by the way, no caffeine. Right, and it's early in the morning. I can now see the sun just starting to peek out. Right, yeah. Heat exhaustion is what people used to talk about, or even heat, yeah, more than heat exhaustion, heat strokes. I might have even experienced some, I'm not sure actually. Now that I look back, because all I would do is push myself continuously anyway. So heat deaths, yeah, this is what they talk about. Look at that. Heat deaths top 25,000 in Europe as scorching weather persists. Anyway, I know a lot of people are still training to can't trust the news, and yeah, I was there and I still am there. Germany's heat death tolls near 10,000. The point is that that's what they're talking about, and all we've heard is about this El Nino. Is it El Nino, I think? Since May. And I know there's been El Ninos they talk about in the past as well. But if you do your studies, if you look at these figures, and they do match the figures when you're actually checking the figures for yourself with temperatures yourself, you'll realize that yeah, things are changing, things are different. And again, you can't give them all credit. You can't give them, the people in charge, or the people who've made themselves in charge, credit for all of this. So yeah, heat deaths. So what I was talking about, the fire, yeah, these people are trying to escape. Right. يا معشر الجن والإنس إن استطعتم أن تنفذوا من أقطار السماوات والأرض فانفذوا لا تنفذون إلا بسلطان. Oh, again, I won't bring up my book, my translation, but yeah, essentially it's talking about this secret society. يا معشر الجن والإنس. Now, it's clear that Allah says that you will not be able to go beyond the heavens and the earth except by authority. Now I'll bring this up. Actually, I want to bring up a Black Eyed Peas song as well that Nicholson 1968 covered, and I thought he covered it brilliantly. But had he known what J Dreamers knows now, or reconsider, or well, that's the problem that people have once they become very religious, and I mean both Christians and Muslims alike. Yeah, once they become religious, it's hard to get beyond the obsession with Jesus or get beyond the obsession with Muhammad equally. So, yeah, and I've got no problem saying that because it's an age-old thing that people somehow lose focus of the Creator and make idols themselves anyway. So these people, who is Allah talking about? It becomes clearer. The more you look into the reality of our world, it becomes clear who Allah is actually referring to. And it is these people who are trying to, yes, I haven't seen the movie, and it might be worth a good study, but I do believe, again, thank you, Jay, leave the world behind. Don't Look Up, another one I haven't seen, yeah, and it probably would be worth studying. But I became trained into whatever they say, do the opposite. So don't look up, do look up, yeah. But actually, I'm not sure anymore because there's so much more truth in these movies. And yeah, but yeah, this is very interesting. That's who these people essentially are. They're trying to leave the world behind. They want to escape. But it's clear again in the Quran. You hear everyone talking about the Bible, but most people actually don't know the Quran. And those that do know the Quran, they're brainwashed by that black cube. If it's not one black mirror or one black object, then it's another black object. And I think the two biggest poisons in my life, at least anyway, has been from childhood, yeah, from one parent, one black cube, which is the TV, the box, and from another parent. And again, I'm not blaming them. You know, I do get angry, I do get frustrated, and I do turn into a bit of a child myself many times in my mind, wanting to blame and, you know, behave like a victim. But then I correct myself. Then no, it's not their fault. They did the best that they could. They didn't know any better. A bit like us, we're doing the best that we can. We can't blame ourselves for everything. We can't make ourselves guilty for things that are beyond us. And yeah, so I still think those are the two biggest poisons: that lying TV, the tell a lie vision, as well as the black cube to prostrate to 5 times a day. And I'm all for prostration, by the way. Anyone that feels like it, I recommend it. Yeah, I want to keep saying that. Do whatever you think works and is correct. And I'm no longer dogmatic about any of this. Either way, I'm no longer even rejecting anyone that wants to pray namaz. Anyone wants to do that, I'm not even rejecting that. Yeah, but yeah, each to their own, whatever it is that they need to do. Because I get it, we're creatures of habit as well, and there's some things that our spirits will completely reject, and like, no, my mind cannot reconcile this, and I will not follow what my mind cannot reconcile. But there are some things that we need to do, like makes sense to wash yourself. I'm not saying in a OCD ritualistic kind of way. Anyway, I'm getting away from the point, and I'll keep all of this anyway. I'm not going to edit this video. All right. So Ya Ma'shar al-Jinni wal-Ins. These people are trying to leave Earth, yeah? Leave the world behind. I haven't seen it. That's what they're trying to do. Don't look up. I'm sure there's something to that. This also came to mind in Man of Steel, right? What does he say? In Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, Lex Luthor, shows Senator Finch a large painting of angels and demons. He says it should be upside down because devils don't come from hell beneath us. They come from the sky. And I always found that very interesting. But I thought he might have a point, because when that, I'm back to here, Surah Ar-Rahman, which is what I'm about to recite today actually, because today's the 24th. I don't do as well with my Quran recitation as I used to, but I try to. It's something very enjoyable, and I like to do it much slowly and remind myself of much of, what I will forget, because this world is in a state of amnesia. On a daily basis we are amnesic. Anyone that doesn't agree, just look at how many notes you might have, or reminders or alarms on your phones. Well, in my case, I can't deal with that. It has to be on paper. But even on the phone, we'll have all of these saved messages. We're all forgetful, as the Quran confirms, and amnesic, and that's why the Quran is known as the reminder of dhikr. So I like to remind myself that, these people are trying to escape, and this is what we're experiencing. This whole fire, the world, they know this. They know this. They want to escape this. They reject the Creator. They reject, much. These are the corruptors. I'm going to come to that as well. These are the corruptors of the earth that Allah is referring to. These are the kafir. And here we are arguing, ridiculously. You're a kafir. No, you're a kafir. You don't do this. You don't believe this. You don't believe that. No, you're a kafir. No, these are the kafirs. These are the kafirs. These are the corruptors of the earth. These are the ones who have enslaved us. These are the people following the pharaonic way, and here we are fighting each other. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd. Someone, let me escape as well. Let me escape. I want to escape as well. I want to get out of here. No, this is happening to you because you don't pray your namaz. No, this isn't happening in your life because... anyway, I'm sure some of you will resonate. But these people, Ya Ma'shar al-Jinni wal-Ins. So this union between ins, because we're ins, humans. Yeah, I know people are going to go into the distinction between ins, insan, and all of this. The more I've studied the Quran, the more I realize the more we do these things, yeah, which could be true, could not be true, but the more we become this like, oh, sujood is this, but it's different to ruku, you know, instead of seeing the bigger picture for what it is, which is that they're all synonymous to you being humble, to you being obedient, loyal, submissive, you know, getting away from this whole holding on to, no, this is technically ways, and if you're not doing that, then you're out of the fold. Even though they won't say you're out of the fold, but they're still following this. You're part of my thing, or you're not part of my thing. Ever since they put on to us the 72 or 73 saved sects, there's only one saved sect that is going to go to heaven. All of this, you know, and even from the Jewish, the children of God, the favorite ones, all of this, it all still permeates throughout our thinking and our actions in other things that we do, unless we are self-reflective and we see that actually, no, this isn't really me. This work that I've put out isn't really me. It's still a bit dark. It still doesn't feel right. There's something not right about all of this, and that's why I need time away. Many times I need time away, because I need to get away from even everything that I've been putting out, everything that I've been thinking, everything that I've been following and believing. I need to get away from that. But you can't do that if you're just doing the same thing every single day, and you're just listening to all these people that like you, or you know, are fascinated with what you're saying or doing, or you know, or you are with other people that you're listening to. So you need time away. So I hope you all can get time away. Ever wonder what that 5 times is for? Can you ever get time away to think, to change? Not just 5 times, but 20 rukat. Anyway, I'm still for it though. I'm still for getting down. I'm still for humbling. I'm still for being loyal, obedient, submissive to all that is good in the world, from all that the Creator has created, and the way that our fitrah is designed for. So keep this in mind. This is what these people are doing. They want to leave the world behind. If you are able to go beyond, the regions of the heavens and the earth, then go. But you will not be able to. This is hyperbole. This is a figure of speech, But again, religious, dogmatic people will be trained into picking things out. Oh, but it says, illa bisultan. Allah might have given them authority. NASA might be real. The space missions might be real. Illa bisultan. But it says illa bisultan. These are how people get. Anyway. That's another sign of the end of times, right? People can't think, right? You can't see context. You can't see bigger pictures. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ يُرْسَلُ عَلَيْكُمَا شُوَاظٌ مِّن نَّارٍ وَنُحَاسٌ فَلَا تَنْتَصِرَانِ. Sent against you will be, I can't remember exactly what I translated, but splinters of, I can't remember, what did I put up? Anyway, the point is that yes, see, even those who haven't got the translation specifically right, they're still getting the gist across, at least in the case of Sam Gerrans, I would say. So sent against you, yes, if you try, yes, you are in for some serious damage and effects from trying to pass beyond this boundary, which is the apex dome, right? So thinking of this painting, or even the moon, where is it, the moon? I'll come back to that. So they're trying to leave, but anyway, this is the end, So why is this here, by the way, Surah Rahman? Why is this here? If you look at this whole context, why is this here? because what we have here is, yeah, what will happen if they try to leave, and when is it that they're going to try to leave? If you think about it, the earth is on fire. That's why I've put this here. The earth is on fire. We are on fire. You can call inflammation fire, yeah, cancer, whatever. It's all the same thing. All of this stuff is all just made up, yeah, just like I'm showing here, illa bisultan. Then they make a new doctrine out of just 2 words. That's what they do in medicine as well. Cancer, they create a new boogeyman when it's just inflammation, yeah, and then they're going to create another new category. Yeah, we are on fire. Our bodies are on fire. Our minds are on fire. This earth is on fire. And we're trying to cool things down. We're trying to, yeah, those who are at least spiritual, we're trying to cool down what we can so we can hold on to that which is good. Because no one in their right mind does things when they're hot-headed. No, not really. Not really. It's enjoyable, it's entertaining, it's dramatic, and some things do get done, no doubt. I can say that for sure. But for the most part, no. I think what women mostly want is calm, cool, and yeah, just calm, cool actions, getting things done, I think, for the most part anyway. So this is at the very end. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Then which of these instruments of your Rabb will you deny? Here we go, I've got it. سَنَفْرُغُ لَكُمْ أَيُّهَا الثَّقَلَانِ. We will vacate them for you, O burdensome two. There is something about these two that get together, the jinn and the ins. I'm not going to go into exactly who that is. But yeah, as I've put here, O intimate coven, secret society of the jinn and mankind, if you are able to penetrate the diameters, that's the actual word, the diameters of the heavens and the earth, which is ultimately space travel, then penetrate. You cannot penetrate except with authority. That's the hard work in me trying to specifically translate this as best as I could. So with which of the instruments of both of your Lord will you both deny? That's how the Arabic goes. All of this is within the specifics. Both. Rabbikuma tukadhiban. It's all dual. This entire surah is dual. It's beautiful. I'm looking forward to reciting this later. So with which of the instruments of both of your Lord or Rabb, I know people have a problem with Lord as well, will you both deny? You can say master or anything else, captain, whatever you like. You get the point. So with which of the instruments of both of your Lord or Rabb will you both deny? Next one. When you both try to leave Earth, that's in brackets, obviously, because that's what was being spoken of. He sends on you both, again, because it's continuous, both. Alaykuma, tantasiran. Yeah. He sends on you both splinters of fire and copper. Interesting, isn't it? That's very different. Splinters of fire and copper. If I bring up that one, what was this one? Flame of fire and smoke. Yeah, it is a bit different. So, yeah. He sends on you both splinters of fire and copper, so you both will not triumph. See? People lose context. They say, oh, wait. They might have been given authority. But they won't read on. Hey, it's right here. So you will both not triumph, yeah? You both will not triumph. Is it a wonder why people don't actually speak about the Quran? So much of the truth is out there, but very little is connected to the Quran. I wonder why. I continuously wonder why, and I kind of answer it myself as I go through this. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So with which of the instruments of both of your Lord will you both, jinn and mankind, deny? So when the heavens split open, it was rosette, ruddat. Yeah, a lot of these Arabic words do connect to English, yes, absolutely. Because this is the ancient language. English is a new language. Yeah, it's connected to a lot of old other ancient languages as well that sound similar. Many share many words. But I love it when I see confirmation. Ruddat, rosette, ruddat. Wardat, yeah. In this case, wardat. But ruddat. فإذا انشقت السماء فكانت وردة كالدهان. So when the heavens split open, it was rosette, like the oil paint dye. So with which of the instruments of both of your Lord Rub will you both, jinn and mankind, deny? So obviously this society that is trying to leave the world behind, trying to escape through that apex dome, which is the thing. Yes, thank you again, Jay. I know I'm using a lot of his work, but it confirms my work. It confirms the Quran. So thank you. All in good time. Or I'll give much more credit when the time is right. Okay, so that's enough about the fire within me and within my mind this Sunday early morning. About Surah Rahman. Surah Rahman, I recommend it. Yeah, there's way more than I'm saying. Obviously, this is how the Quran is. You can spend forever. There's way more. But yeah, this really does come to mind. It's interesting. As he said, devils don't come from hell beneath us, they come from the sky. The more we look, I think it is good to be curious. I think it is good to be interested, and I think it's good to always be willing to let go of that which we previously believed, to open the doors to something which actually might be true, which is not negating the Quran, which is not negating reality, which is not negating the truth. I think it's always it's a good practice to have, to let go of things that we previously believed, because I think many of us here, we do criticize those whose how does it go? It's hard to convince. Dr. Jack Cruz said something on one of his slides. It's hard to convince someone of the truth about something when his salary depends on him not understanding it. He said it better than that, but ultimately that is brilliant. It's hard to convince someone of something when his salary depends upon him not understanding it. Meaning, yeah, I don't understand it, because if I do understand this, then that's my whole career gone. That's my whole salary gone. Yeah, and that's what these doctors are all about, right? And that goes for all the truthers. I'm tired of all of it. I don't know about you guys. I'm tired of all of the debates. I've got a picture here somewhere. I'm tired of all of those debates. I'll bring it up. Where is it? Spirituality. Where is it? Yeah. Debates conceal rather than reveal the truth. Truth is revealed in solitude. Leo Tolstoy knew something. I agree. Debates conceal rather than reveal the truth. Truth is revealed in solitude. And all of this stuff. Veganism, carnivore, I'm tired of all of it. Although I am wondering whether the latest oxalates and phytates is something I need to look into for my health, to improve my health. Whether I need to let go of this food group as well now. Okay, fine, to none of the refined carbs, but potatoes or anything else with oxalates and phytates, it just doesn't seem to stop. But ultimately, it's back to this. It's not this that is the issue, all of these things. Oh, you've got diabetes because you don't walk enough, you don't run enough, you don't exercise enough. No, it's way more than people want to simplify it down to. It's to do with our circadian rhythms. Again, back to our Fitrah. It's to do with we've lost our circadian rhythms. Just look at the birds. That's the bird's salat. That's the bird's salat on a regular rhythm, on a regular basis. Sunrise, sunset, what they're doing. I love it when I'm out there and I can't hear anyone, and all I can hear is them doing what they do regularly. Even, I've left the windows open right now, so I was hearing the birds earlier. I can probably hear them still. You watch them do their thing. That's the bird's salat. That's what Allah's asking us to do. Stick to our fitrah in this age of time when everything is pushing us to go in opposition to our innate nature. That's our fitrah. For those who are listening who don't know what I'm talking about, fitrah, I'll come to that as well. That's a key part of this. Returning to the signal. It's all about returning to our fitrah. Okay, so let me close that one. Back to the very beginning. Does anyone speak French? Like I said, Better than Del Boy, that's for sure. And yes, I know about even all of these celebrities and even Del Boy, and more as we see, who knows what the hell is true and how much of this, what these people are and what they've been up to and what they're doing anyway. I'm staying focused on the thing as I was trying to put this together. The Eiffel Tower came to my mind because for those who have seen my previous videos, I've said that Tour is the tower. Tour, it's not a coincidence that Tour, a Tour is sinin, Tour is seina. Let me bring up the image. Where is it? Let me close that one. Yeah, done with Surah Rahman. Yep. So this, alright. So what I brought up at the beginning, the tower. Yeah, that's interesting. A titan is born. A titan is born. Very interesting. Oh, and in French, naissance, new. I think that's new. D'un, which is dun, titan. Yeah. Of a titan, new of a titan. I think so. I think that's how that goes. New of a titan. Interesting how you can kind of decipher a little bit like Arabic as well, if you know a little bit. Naissance, new, de un titan. Maybe that's how they say titan. I'm not sure. Titan. Yeah. So, yeah, a titan. So that's the titan. I think this is what we're looking at here. At the center of our Earth is this magnetic mountain, right? Mount Meru, whatever. It goes by many names, right? Tour. I've made the case, and I'm very convinced, and I still am convinced that Musa went to this tower. He was blessed to go to this tower. This is where he went. The Tower of Sinai. Jabal mountain, as I've said in the Quran, that's a different word. Jabal mountain. Tur, they never make a distinction. I wonder why. Why do they not make a distinction? I wonder why. Because there is a distinction, and I think it is tower, Tur. And that's why I've said this is our Qibla. And I know many if there are people saying, oh, astaghfirullah, what the hell, you shouldn't be listening to this channel by now. I think should be longer now. In fact, maybe the views are going down, maybe because it's no longer for anyone except fewer and fewer, who knows. But yeah, I don't mind anyway. Gotta stick to the truth, because I've seen what happens when your, as Dr. Jack Roos said, when your salary depends on it. Yeah, people change what they do, what they're willing to talk about, what they share, what they think, when money is dependent. And in this case, yeah, even numbers, viewers, that is money. However you look at it, that is still money when it comes to subscribers and views. But anyway, return to Al-Qibla, that's what I say, which is the Fitrah. Now, this is the Eiffel Tower, and I think it is another beautiful image. And yeah, the light of the world, I think, is at the center. Yeah, the light. This is kind of, for me, representative of the apex dome that Jay talks about, which is what gives us our moon, which is what I was talking about when I was looking in early this morning, the sliver, the crescent, was it 24th day of the moon that I was looking at, the 24th phase, and that is from that reflection which is here at the center. All of these lights, even the sun, it's not an actual physical object that you can visit and go to. They're all lights, they're all reflecting lights. And is it that things are getting hotter because that focal point is getting closer? And is it actually because it's getting closer to the Earth, therefore the distance that it travels around is actually getting smaller, and therefore time is actually moving faster? Possibly. Can't say anything about this as a matter of fact. It's possible. But yeah, I find it very interesting, this Eiffel Tower. So let me come to this Eiffel Tower. So they say the Eiffel Tower is globally recognized as a powerful cultural icon. I won't go into all of this modern symbolism, romance and love. Yes, romance and love. It's always been that one. And it's nice as well, actually. It's nice. It's something beautiful as well. Yeah, I'm not talking about the bastardization or the extremes of anything, but yeah, it's nice. Engineering brilliance. It represents technological progress. Okay, this came about afterwards. This is cultural, yeah. Engineering brilliance. It represents technological progress, human ingenuity, and the mastery of industrial metal construction. When was it built? 1887. That's not that long ago. 19. Yeah, 150 years. Okay, so, but this bit got my interest, piqued my curiosity. Okay, so obviously there's history behind it as well. It marked the centenary celebration of the 1789 French Revolution. Again, I'm not here to talk about the actual truth about the Eiffel Tower or what history says, what their story is, yeah, what his story is. I just find it interesting. This bit piqued my interest. Its role as a secret radio tower that saved it from being demolished. Now, I do wonder whether all the towers... Enjoy your bike early this morning. Yeah, the road must be nice and clear. If you could hear that in the background, someone speeding. The road must be very nice and clear. I remember when I drove to the beach, this time actually a few weeks back, when I drove to the beach, yes, I was half asleep, but it was beautiful. Watching the twilight, yeah, roads clear. Being careful also with the cameras, but anyway. Yeah, so this, returning to, yeah, I believe, is my opinion. Now, that comes to mind, this famous Hadith Jibril, about when you see the towers rising and all of this, yeah? The barefoot naked shepherd and all of that nonsense. I'm sorry, nonsense. I know it probably still stings a little bit, but whatever. But all of this has elements of truth, yeah? So I'll try not to be too strong about it. But, yeah, nonsense. I just like a lot of the Bible. Nonsense, man. Nonsense. Sorry. Just my opinion. Everyone is free to believe whatever they want. But a lot of these, yeah, but there's elements of truth. I think people have made up these stories, whether they're coming from jinn inspired, demonic inspired, or you can say saintly inspired, angelic inspired, whatever you want to say, they have elements of truth to it. And this is the point I'm making, that this tower, all of these towers, including whatever we see in Dubai, continuously in Arabia, and this continuous competition of raising the highest tower, yeah, I think it is actually mostly subconsciously, maybe some people consciously, but I think mostly subconsciously it is people referring back to the ancient tower, At-Tur Sinin, the tower at the center of the earth. I think it is that. Now, that's why I put up the clip in from Lost, because that series Lost, for anyone that hasn't seen it, you've probably, for those who've been following the channel, you've probably seen me use Lost a number of times now. Again, that's not a coincidence. It is littered with truths, well worth watching. For those who've never seen it before, man, you're in for a treat, I think, if you follow all of this truth. And for those who have seen it and have forgotten all about it, yeah, I think you're in for another treat again. But yeah, yeah, purgatory, all of that comes to mind. I'm rethinking everything that I mocked at, in the past. The hour, the apocalypse, it's all apocalyptic. It's all people trying to escape to the safe haven, the sanctuary, which is also referred to in the Quran repeatedly, al-Mashil Haram, al-Ard al-Muqaddasa, the sanctuary that we are all seeking, yeah, where there is no fear, there is no hunger, there is no, as it says at the end of the Quran, وَمِن جُوءٍ وَمِن خَوْفٍ, right? فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ الَّذِي أَطْعَمَهُمْ مِنْ جُوءٍ وَآمَنَهُمْ مِنْ خَوْفٍ. I just tried to remember that right now. So its role as a secret radio tower. I do wonder whether that tower is speaking about, well, yeah, I think it is very much symbolic. But anyway, a nice, beautiful image, a nice construction. I like these iconic, I like these, what do you call them, retro, simple, iconic ones, rather than, yeah, the more glamorized ones. But I'm sure, like me, many of you probably wondered, what the hell is that? What is that meant to be? Yes, actually, I'm saying this. I don't think anyone's called it a radio tower. I think it is actually a radio tower, a signal, a tower to signal from, or receives a signal to. So, the only word to me in French right now that matters is écoutez. If that's how you say écoutez. Are we listening to this signal from the center of the earth? I'm going to come to a section from Jay Dreamer's book. I'm going to be reading at the very end. For those who do listen throughout. Yeah, I've got very important things to come. But I'm going to let all of this come out first, whatever's coming out of me naturally. So yeah, this signal from the center of the earth, which mirrors the signal within us. Are we listening to it? Are we listening to it? Écoutez. Écoutez. I think, if I'm correct, that's the last word that's mentioned in the movie Disclosure, right? Écoutez. Listen. Alright, just took a quick light break. Everyone is still asleep. Let me make hay whilst the sun is shining, I guess. Yeah, I recommend that, by the way. Take regular light breaks and learn from my mistake. Don't be in the sun except for 2 occasions, I'd say. The first two hours from sunrise and the last 2 hours at sunset, just before sunset. So I think the sun obsessors are correct about how beneficial the sun is for us, and about tanning, and about getting exposed to sunlight, and about all of these things that they are sun worshippers essentially, whether they say that or not. I think most people can recognize that a lot of these people worship sun, and I think I was slowly becoming one of them as well. But always repeating to myself, what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, but just trying to take the benefits, whatever's beneficial within nature. But I think it's true, the 2 extremes are kind of true. They're both true. That the sun is beneficial for us, but at the same time, it's also true that it's harming us. And I think a lot of people are oblivious to that, because if you have disconnected yourself to your Fitrah, going back to this, disconnected your signal, which is within you, which again I'm still coming to, so there's a lot to cover. Yeah, I want to bring this up very quickly because I've moved on from Surah Rahman, which is ultimately about these people trying to leave this place, which is at the top of this, yeah? So at the top of Tur, so if we think about the journeys that took place, the fantastical journeys that we hear of that took place, both the Nabi of the Quran as, the highest horizon, that comes to mind, Tur Sinin, even Musa being saved here. I mean, not here, but I'm just giving you a symbolic image. Yeah, being saved here, making that journey, being paved a way open to that which you're not allowed access to unless you're given divine access to. There's a way paved open for you to there. And then even from there, to travel from there, what we hear of these stories, which is interdimensional travel. Yeah, interstellar travel. Yeah, Interstellar, the movie, the thumbnail image that I used, the music that I used. It's all somewhat true. Anyway, so this, the journey that takes place through the porthole, yeah, porthole. This is the eclipse, right? The eclipse that is coming up soon. This is what people have depicted in the past. The porthole, which looks like, actually, yeah. This is interesting. People's depictions of the sun. This is very interesting. It looks like the sun's rays even here. This is very interesting. Because all of these ancient depictions, by the way, and I think Jay is right again, all of these depictions that we think of as being the sun and because of the sun's, what we think of as the sun's rays is actually the apex dome. Yeah, again, I'm not gonna go from there, but this is, yeah, before I move on, going back to the signal, these people who are trying to escape, leave the world behind, which Allah says you will not be able to go through this porthole. Yeah, at the top, you will not be able to go through. What we see, Iron Man, all of this what I showed in the previous videos, I put it all together for a good reason, because they're all pointing to the same thing. Iron Man going through that porthole, Stargate, the movie, that beam that we see going up. Anyway, so this is what this is all about, right? For those who are familiar with the very first flat earth video that I put up on the channel back in 3-4 years ago, 2022, 4 years ago, maybe, no, more than 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. Yeah, anyway, a long time ago. Yeah, a lot of it is still true. It's way more than that. Once again, we've got the lie, the globe lie. We have the flat earth mainstream alternative information, which gives a hell of a lot of truth, but it's still not the full truth. Anyway, but for those who are familiar, who have been listening to this clip again and again from Hillary, yeah, she says, see, for feminists, they're probably thinking, back then at least anyway, that she's talking about, yeah, we're finally gonna triumph men, we're gonna finally get there, because I think that's what they all talked about back then. I think, if I remember correctly, it would sound very feminist, but yeah, this was nothing to do with that. It's all to do with cosmology, about them leaving the earth, right? Although we were not able to shatter that highest, hardest glass ceiling, because it is a glass dome, this heat dome that they're talking about right now, the weather continuous. Why are they saying heat domes? Because they're telling us we live under a dome, we live under a glass dome, and they know this. Thanks to you, you silly sleeping folk, yeah, you, what mockery, thanks to you, it has 18 million cracks in it. And again, for those who believe in the 666 nonsense, will go crazy. Oh, look, 18, 6 times 3 is 18. They're all divine numbers, they're all divine, yeah, it's all nonsense anyway. But yeah, thanks to you, it has 18 million cracks in it, and the light is shining through like never before. The light is shining through like never before. That dome, the apex dome, never before, filling us all with the hope and the sure knowledge that the path will be a little easier next time because of Project Fishbowl, if I remember correctly. Fishbowl, again, I'm not repeating a lot of what I've already covered in the past, but yeah, nuclear. Oh, when we see what we see coming in the future, a lot of people are going to question, oh my god, is nuclear bombs actually real? Well, not again. Once again, what they teach us is false, and even the alternative will throw the baby out with the bathwater, saying that yeah, nuclear bombs don't exist, but the reality is the magnitude of the catastrophe does exist. So it's always trying to reconcile the two sides and understand what the actual truth is. The truth is that the magnitude of the destruction that we're going to see is going to definitely look like what we've seen in the movies, which is the mushroom cloud and the bombs and everything. So that's what they've been doing. They've been trying to, again, I think Jay is absolutely right. Elon Musk, those satellites, setting up detonators, trying to escape. Again, just go back to my previous videos. I've talked about this. I don't like to repeat a lot of this, but yeah, it's all relevant. So this is always the increasing challenge, to stay on point, but at the same time try and give you something that will fit in the piece for when you're listening either the first time or you might have missed it. This is what she's talking about. This is what they're talking about. And again, I don't know whether even they are conscious or subconscious. I believe that they are conscious, but a lot of people even beneath them probably subconscious or oblivious to what is actually taking place. Filling us all with the hope and the sure knowledge that the path will be a little easier next time, and we are going to keep working to make it so. today, keep with me and stand for me. We still have much to do together. We made history, and let's make some more. Yeah, it's a strange world. Truth is definitely stranger than fiction. So that's referring to 5533 again. Ya ma'shar al-jinni wal ins. They are trying to leave. So I ask you the one word in French that I think does matter. That is, I think, the very last word in the movie Disclosure. Steven Spielberg's latest, which I have not seen, but I have been told that the last word that is mentioned in the movie is écoutez. So I request you listen as I'm trying to listen, as I've been trying to listen to my Fitrah over the last month more than ever. Disconnecting with everything, buying a dumb phone, connecting to nature as much as I can. These sunrises, sunsets, twilights, the beach, sand, sea, the birds, even what I just experienced right now in this quick break that I took, touching the olive tree in the silence of the morning, hearing the birds, well, the one bird in this case right now, flying past, more right now as I'm speaking. All of this, connecting to all of this, this is the signal. This is the signal. And that's why, more than ever, we need to clean up anything that is interfering with that signal. And I think most people will agree, at least in my case, apart from what I'm doing here right now, this clarity of signal and thinking that I have in this morning is very difficult. I feel like I am actually being manipulated most of the time. Most of the time. I feel like I am not in control of my life, probably like many of you. So this is why prayers, connection to nature more than anything, which is connecting to Allah, connecting to the Fitrah, our Fitrah within us, outside of us, sacred scripture, the book, the Quran, everything. It's all very important, increasingly important, and exponentially important, I would say. As everything speeds up in the wrong direction, we have to speed up, in a sense, in the opposite direction, which kind of means the opposite, slowing down, removing, deleting. That's what I think that means, because that's the control then, isn't it? Their energy of speeding up, and us, yeah, it has to be the opposite. Again, that's a challenge that takes a lot of energy. So I will continue to try to listen, and I hope you join me in listening. Okay, so the first main part of today, with all of that which was on my mind that I wanted to come out first, with this now, the very beginning of the Quran. This is, for those who are not familiar, if I take you up here, this is Surah Al-Baqarah. Yeah, basically the first part of the Quran. For those who are not familiar, this is ultimately a regular request that Muslims make, this first part. And yeah, if I was to give it to you very quickly, it is the request to be on that straight, narrow path that Christians are familiar with, that only the few, yeah, and the other door, what is it? How does it go? The other path is wide, and many shall be deceived or follow. So again, it's not unique to the Quran or Islam or even Christianity in the Bible. I'm sure it's pretty much prominent everywhere in ancient ways of thinking, traditions, yeah, that it's the minority that seek that difficult, straight path. Yeah, wise people. I think of Earl Nightingale. Nothing really to do with religion, but it was recognized. I think one of the things he said is, if you do the opposite to what everyone does, you will never make a mistake in your life. Something like this. It sounds quite extreme, but he could be right. Anyway, so yeah, this is the straight path. But in the Quran's case, I'll just give you my view, which is ultimately what we see here is Ikhlas. Yeah, we see Surah Al-Ikhlas, Qul Huwallahu Ahad. This is the verse here, which is ultimately referring to that one. Qul huwallahu ahad. Say he is the one. It's all talking about the creator, the one, the source. For those who are familiar even with the New Age or some other area that I'm not familiar what the name is. But yeah, we are source and we come from the all source, which is Allah. Yeah, the all. Why do we say all hearing, all knowing, all seeing? Yeah, Allah is the all source, but we are source. We are sourced from the all source. And I know that's going to sound very on shaky foundations for a lot of people, but I don't see any problem with that. Anyway, so yeah, that's the one, that's the origin, that's the source. Yeah, I know this world is way more than I understand it to be, way more complex, but this is for me my grounding, my foundation. And it just continues to confirm what a lot of people say, like I just told you. So that's what we have in number 5. That we want to shed all of these shackles that have been placed upon us, and we want to go directly to the all source. That's what verse 5 is talking about, because that is ultimately where we're heading, the apocalypse. Maliki Yawmuddin. Yeah, that's the apocalypse, which could be imminent. Not trying to fearmonger, we'll never set dates, but yeah, could be imminent. Could be absolutely around the corner. I'm speaking about it very plainly right now, but on other occasions in my own mind and my own thinking, I'm not thinking about it very calmly. But anyway, yeah. So that's why we shouldn't be idolizing or creating any idols. Ultimately, that's what we're seeing here. And that straight path is, so the rest of the Quran is like what we see on the computers, for those who are familiar, thumbnails. Yeah, a thumbnail is basically giving you an idea of what's in the rest of it. This is the thumbnail of the Quran right here. And it's very interesting because these two paths that are described is detailed throughout the rest of the Quran. And it makes sense now. I keep saying this. Why the Quran is all about Musa, Fir'aun and Bani Israel. It's got nothing to do with the religions that they've created. Not Christianity, not Judaism, not Islam. It makes sense why the Quran is all about Musa, Fir'aun and Bani Israel. Because there's something special about those who survived the last apocalypse. Those who survived the last apocalypse, which again, so if I was to put it in a pictorial kind of way, yeah, for those who've seen my previous videos, yeah, Musa was saved. He was told to take Bani Israel here, what you see here. Take my people here. Tur, what Tur is seen in. They were taken here. Yeah, obviously I'm giving you a symbolic idea. They were taken here. They were saved. The rest drowned, yeah. Then they came out. Who came out? The survivors. Would you not say that that is a description of a second life of people who have got now exceptional knowledge, exceptional technology, know-how, power, second life? Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. This world is far more than we understand it to be. Anyway, so that's what it moves on to. So if I take you now to Surah, where was I? Yeah, 31 is Adam and his name. So that's actually why I'm here today. But I want to talk about as much as I can, everything that is important, I think. Because it is hard to find the time and energy to do these things during, especially while the world is on fire. Ultimately, yes. While the world is on fire, and so am I. Right, so Adam was taught the names. I'm going to be coming to this. Let's call this part 1, what I'm about to cover right now. I'll come to this in part 3 later. وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا ثُمَّ عَرَضَهُمْ على الملائكة فقال أنبئوني بأسماء هؤلاء إن كنتم صادقين. And he taught Adam the names, all of them. Now I know people have come up with their ideas of what that means, and I'm not negating any of them. Inform me the name of these. Yeah, inform me the name of these. This is very interesting because I do believe it is the names of the animals at what we see on the Urbano Monte map. Right, so I'm getting ahead. I'm speaking about part 3, but maybe I'll just briefly speak about it right now and come back to it later. But these names I do think it very likely is about the names of the animals. I'm not limiting it to the animals, but let me just give you an idea. I mean, if I take you back to Mercator, the Mercator map, yeah. If I take you to the Mercator map, where there is Rupus nigra, this is what I'm talking about. So for those who have been looking either for the first time, when I'm talking about this, and even when I'm talking about the Eiffel Tower, which I think is symbolic of the original tower, Tour Sinin, I'm actually talking about this. This is the original tower. Yeah. It's not quite a mountain, it's not quite a tower, it's not a jabal. I mean, yeah, it's something. Anyway, I'm not going to go into it. But this is ultimately what it is. The path was paved, for Musa to save himself and Bani Israel there. And everything else was drowned out. And then they came out as the survivors of Hyperborea, as the legend goes. Right, so this is the Mercator map. But on the Urbano Monte map, which is harder to pull up. I'm not going to pull it up here, but for those who are familiar, you've seen unicorns, you'll see all kinds of animals all around detailed there. Yeah, here, right here, right. Let me see if I can just give you an example. Yeah, I think it's the David Rumsey one. Is it that one? Yeah. All right, so if I bring this up, again, it's hard to, again, I'm not going to go into it, but you'll see animals actually throughout the map, not just on the side, it's throughout the map. Yeah, everywhere. Griffins, animals that we don't see today. So I'm not here to talk about the Urbano Monte map, but for those who are familiar, the legendary animals. So if you think that they are just mythological, I would ask you, do you believe in recent extinction of animals? Yeah. If you believe in recent extinction of animals, then it's not hard to believe in a bit further back extinction of animals. Yeah, it's that simple. If you believe that some of these animals are no longer here with us, as it's detailed here, how far back does it go? Just 100 years ago. Tasmanian tiger, pinta giant, tortoise, Caspian tiger. Yeah, these are easier to believe because we've got animals that look like that, or we're familiar with it, we know about it. So if you believe in the existence of those animals that are no longer here, then is it hard to believe that there were other animals back then? Anyway, I'll come to this. So I'm of the opinion, and I agree, that when Adam was taught the names, all of them, then he presented them to the Malaika and said, then Allah presented them to the Malaika and said, inform me of the names if you be truthful. They said, glory be to thee. So they don't have the knowledge that us human beings do, I would say, possibly. That's what that would indicate, right? The human beings were taught, our greatest ancestor. And I'm not going to say whether Adam was a person. I know there's theories about that as well. I'm open to that. I am of the opinion that there was one to begin with that was created, like it says in the Quran. That was the beginning of the human race. Or sorry. Actually, something indicates to me that it might not actually be the first human race. Actually, yes, it's possible it might not be the first. Another controversial thing I'm putting out there that I don't have any clear-cut knowledge on, but I've seen indications that yes, it's not the first human race. So regarding this signal, regarding our Fitrah, why do I say Fitrah? And Qibla, why do I even say Qibla? So let me somewhat explain. Let me take you quickly through this first section of the Quran. So what we have is the confirmation of So this is the book in which there is nothing fishy about it, nothing suspicious about it. Those who believe in the unseen, that becomes more clearer now. For me, the unseen, according to the Quran, is we don't see the Creator, we don't see these deputies of the Creator, the Malay al-A'la, the Malaika, even Jibril, all of this, what we hear of, those who work under the Source Creator, we don't see them. We don't see the books of the past or the messengers of the past. And we don't see what's coming ahead, this judgment or the end. Ultimately, this is what we're talking about. This is what it means to believe in the Al-Ghaib, according to the Quran, strictly according to the Quran. But I would say it's, you can expand your horizons or broaden your mind, broaden your horizons into what that means beyond the Quran, believing in the unseen. And again, I would say our brain is a filter. Use it. Don't abuse it. Don't open your mind too much. Too much. But yeah, anyway, ultimately that's what it is. Those who believe in Al-Ghaib and uphold the salat of the birds, yeah, the Fitrah. There's your Fitrah right there from the very beginning. And this is your first tenet of that, doing what we were created to do, which is spend. We have this energy. We're not supposed to preserve it. We're supposed to spend it. That's what it is. It could be money, could be energy, could be time, as I'm doing right now. Yeah, that's what it is. Helping someone else in whichever form. That's what it is, right? I'm sure you're going to find in wildlife, I'm sure you're going to find even amongst the birds again, how they behave. Helping one another, going together with one another, guiding one another, or nudging one another, or whatever it is. Yeah, that's what it is. So the corruption begins here. So it carries on for the right, and those who, when I say believe, that's a loose word. It does mean secure, but belief and faith are loose terms. But yeah, ultimately this iman is about security. You can hyphenate it: secure belief, secure faith. But it's not just mere belief. It is something you are secure about. So how do you become secure about something? The more you know. It can't just be there. Well, actually, it is already there. But yeah, work has been done to cover it. So the work has to be done to uncover it again, to uncorrupt it, to take out. And that's why, that's the whole purpose of the clean eating, clean digestion of what's going through the eyes and ears and what you're talking about, who you're around and what you're looking at and everything. That's ultimately the reason for all of these things, to be able to preserve that, the spirit's sight. Which again, if you're like me and you live where I live and you go through what I go through and experience what I experience, that's bloody hard. That's bloody damn hard. It's incredibly hard. But anyway, I guess it's meant to be. And I'm sure the case is the same with many of you. Okay, so those who... Okay, now we're coming to the corruption of the innate self there, the Fitrah, this signal that I'm talking about. The Fitrah, the Qibla. Qibla, which they direct us to the black cube in Saudi Arabia. They call that the Qibla, but obviously it's not. The Qibla in the Quran is simply some attractive course. Yeah, some attractive course. It's synonymous to the path. Yeah, it's synonymous to the straight path, the Qibla. Qibla is some kind of attractive course, because the Nabi is looking up into the heavens, and they say we're going to direct you to a Qibla that's going to please you. Yeah, and it's confirmed in the Quran that they do not follow their own Qiblas. Yeah, they will not follow your Qibla, and they do not follow each other's Qiblas. They are confused. They're confused, yeah, about the signal of what's right, what's wrong, yeah, ultimately. So that's what Qibla is. It's synonymous to Sirat al-Mustaqim, the path. And I would argue that the Qibla is actually this signal that I'm talking about, the Fitrah. So here it begins. This is the kafir. The kafir are those who are trying to escape the earth, that reject Allah, leave the world behind. Okay, I can hear the church now starting to make noise, doing their manic, religious, dogmatic, idol worship stuff, yeah. There's many great people, I'm not denying that. And yeah, they do a lot of great work. But I equate them all as the same. Muhammad obsessors, Jesus obsessors, I equate them the same. It's all about, as I'm saying, our signal connecting directly to the source, the all source. And as it says, those who cover up, yeah, those who kafru, those who cover up, it is the same. It's not ignore. Those who cover up the truth, essentially, it is the same to them whether thou hast warned them or thou hast not warned them. They will not believe. Allah has sealed their hearts, and over their hearing and over their sight is a covering, and they have a great punishment. And of men are some who say, we believe in Allah and the last day, but they're not believers. So there are outright liars, and there are those who are actors, pretenders, hypocrites. Yeah, we have many of them that we have been following for a long time. And I'm not judging anyone, I'm just saying, social media and the world is full of actors, pretenders, deceivers. As Shakespeare said, the world's a stage. They would deceive Allah and those who do believe, but they deceive only themselves, and they perceive it not. Yeah, they think they are doing something good. They think that we are the fools, right? They think that we are the fools because they know more than us. Has knowledge always been the measure stone for who is successful and who is not? I would argue no. The more I know, the more I realize that, actually. That's the funny thing. The more I learn, the more I realize that it's not the one that knows the most, for sure. It's not the one that knows the most. And these people know the most, you would say, right? Those who were saved from with Musa. Why do you think Allah talks about them? You are saved, and look at how you treat the earth, and look at how you behave. Look at how you disregard this covenant that was set up. Look at what you do. So in their hearts is a disease, so Allah has increased their disease, and for them is a painful punishment because they have lied. That's lie, kadhib. And when it is said to them, work not corruption in the land. So I'm talking about the signal, right? I'm talking about the fitrah. Let me quickly take you. So this is ultimately now speaking from the very beginning of the Quran. Where is it? Tufsidu, which is fasad, corrupt. Ultimately, that's it. Fasad is corruption. The best definition I think there is. Fasad is corruption, and it makes sense. Because this is about the corruption of our fitrah. Let me bring you to two verses regarding the fitrah. Actually, 3 verses. So one, I've got an image ready. Where is that? Yep. This is probably the most important one regarding the fitrah. فَأَقِمْ وَجْهَكَ لِلدِّينِ حَنِيفًا فِطْرَةَ اللَّهِ الَّتِي فَطَرَ النَّاسِ عَلَيْهَا لَا تَبْدِيلَ لِخَلْقِ اللَّهِ لا تبديل لخلق الله ذلك الدين القيم ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون. So set thou thy face towards the deen, yeah, the Hanif deen. Yes, shout out to my brother Hanifan. Yep, he set us on a good trajectory, no doubt. So set thou thy face towards the debt. Essentially, this deen is a doctrine of sorts. Yeah, it's not a religion like they teach us. It is a doctrine that we follow. Everyone's on a doctrine of sorts. We're all seeking out the right doctrine in this amnesic world that we find ourselves in, born into, clueless, forgetful, and just in need of wisdom and insight from people who seem to have figured things out. And so we're all on a doctrine of sorts. That's what it is. Deen is neutral. That's why the kafir have their deen and the believers have their deen. The liars, the coverers of truth, have their way. Yeah, I'll just say it. I mean, the image that comes to my mind, I don't watch any of social media, but I think it's the perfect image for today, right now. Andrew Tate. There's many more. Okay, Donald Trump. There's many more. I can keep going. Elon Musk. There's so many. But they have their deen, right? and all those that follow their way. Yeah, the macro, the micro, they are the macro versions, but obviously people amongst us are the micro versions as well. Everything is macro, micro, mirrored, as within, so without, as above, so below. So we are told to set our face wajhaka lid-dini hanifa, fitrat Allah. This is the definition in the Quran of our innate nature, what we've been natured upon. They translate that as created upon. No, not khalq, not khalq nas, fatr nas. Here is fitrat, fatr nas. This is why it's important to translate the Quran correctly. It's right here, I'm telling you, fitrat, fatran. But yet we have nature and we have create. But you can understand it's still kind of correct. But I think you'll understand that it's better when you translate the word for actually what the word is and not change it. So the nature of Allah, which He natured people upon, yeah? No changing the creation of Allah. La tabdila li khalqillah. And whether you believe the name is Allah, Allah says Himself, call me by this name, call me by that name, call me by the best of names. Allah doesn't make a big deal about in the Quran what the name is. No, there's none of this. It's all of these titles, the best of titles. So even if people are still averse to Allah, so I don't know who's listening, yeah, whatever you call the Creator, the Most High, a lot of people are happy with the Most High, which is again in the Quran. Allah, according to some Qurans, is the deity, the God. I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying people get upset and troubled over frivolous, not frivolous, the word's gone from my mind, silly, small details, silly, small things, I think, personally. And it comes from the dark, religious upbringing, I think. لا تبديل لخلق الله ذلك الدين القيم. That is the right debt. So deen is a debt. Everyone is on a debt. On that day, we're all going to have to pay for our debts. We've been given something. We didn't give it to ourselves. We've been given something. We're going to have to pay for it. Or for whatever it is. That's why it's good to do a life review at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. It's good to do the life review before life really is reviewed. And I know, yeah, it's not great. It's not perfect. But we do what we can anyway. So that's what real prayer, I think, is about. That's what real prayer is about. Doing a life review, speaking to the Creator as if you are there now and you're going to meet. Yeah. This is what people do. This is the description of the believers in the Quran. They think about this, the meeting. They think about the judgment. They think about that. Yeah. So this is the nature. This is probably the most important verse regarding the nature. The nature of Allah in which He natured people. And on top of that, no changing. Yeah, now it says khalq, yeah? No changing the creation of Allah. So that's probably the most important. And I do resonate very strongly with, where is it? This. I have to thank C3PO Golden Calf. Yeah, a lot of the Christians, again, I'm not mocking. A lot of the Christians, I feel like that they are some of the best people that I listen to and I meet. And they have this similar troubles I think a lot of us do, just like a lot of Muslims. Even, yeah, people who go to the mosque and pray namaz. A lot of Muslims, amazing people. It's not easy to draw a line and judge people outright, whatever they're doing and following. Anyway, I'm saying this because I give the example of C3PO Golden Calf, and he reminded me of what I remembered and I knew to be true. This verse in the Bible. Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. This is the fitrah right here. This is the innate self, the nature, what we know. Why are children described as angels? What changes? It's the programming, yeah, of this world. This is the fitrah that we're supposed to go back to. It's right here. What we see here. The nature. The trees in the reflection. Going back to nature. Going back to our nature. Unless we become like them. Adults are harder to deal with. They're arrogant, stubborn, close-minded. It's these that are the best to deal with because they agree. They know what they already know to be true when you say things. So this is the nature, and that's one from Surah 30 verse 30. Another one here. And when your Rabb brought forth from the children of Adam, so we come from Adam, most people will agree with that, from the backs their progeny, and made them bear witness as to themselves, am I not your Rabb? They said, verily we bear witness. This is the Shahada. Oh, I think I said something as well. Fitrah, yeah, this is the Shahada, Fitrah. This is the Shahada. The Shahadatain doesn't exist in the Quran, for those who are not familiar. The Shahadatain, the double Shahada, does not exist. It's only this. We bear witness that you are our Rabb. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. That's all there is. But again, I'm not gonna argue against those that say Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Abduhu wa Rasuluhu, whatever. Yeah. If you want to know, that's in the Surah of the hypocrites. This is what the hypocrites insist upon. But again, I'm not here to argue, because again, as it says here, debates conceal rather than reveal the truth. Truth is revealed in solitude. Everything else is just people arguing over confirmation bias. Do you agree that namaz is in the Quran? Do you agree that salat is in the Quran? Do you agree that? Do you agree that? Do you agree that? Do you agree that? Tell me you agree that. I don't know. I'm gonna block you. I'm gonna block you. I need to know. Don't do this. I have to have this. Again, I get it. Everyone's on different level. Whatever, man, with the namaz and salat. But for most of you who are listening to me, you agree. No more. No more. That is only a problem and a hindrance. Just look at the zombification and the mindlessness. But each person is on their own journey. So yeah. And again, I understand the transition as well. Some people's transition will take longer. So I understand that as well. Transitioning away from that programming. But yeah, it's right here. As I said, the Shahadatain is in here. How many things does a person need to be listed that is not there? That they hold on to this one thing. And I don't blame them. But that's what is. My mind will not. If you journal, if you write, if you think, if you disconnect, if you go to nature, if you disconnect from your phone, you'll think hard and long enough, and you'll come to the conclusion that yeah, I'm stupid, like I am personally in other ways in my life. Why do I keep doing this thing? Why do I keep eating this rice? I love this rice, but why do I keep eating this rice? I'm sure this rice is harmful to me. I'm sure of it. This rice is harmful to me. I'm so sure, but most of the world is not sure. They think it's okay just because traditions have been eating it, just because probably Japan or India, whatever. But I'm sure of it that this rice is killing me. But yeah, I still eat it. I mean, I still drop it, but I come back to it. So anyway, yeah, I get it. Everyone is doing what it is that they do. Who knows? I don't know if all carbs right now are no good for us. Again, maybe they were good in the past, and maybe now we just can't have them at all. Our bodies can't handle them. And those that can are still healthy enough until their organs also can no longer handle them because of the world that we're living in and the electromagnetic changes. Okay, back to the Fitrah. We are electromagnetic. Yeah, electric, magnetic, right here. If you agree we are electromagnetic beings, that's our signal. That's our Fitrah. This is the radio signal. This is the electric. The radio signal is electric. It's magnetic. It travels through magnetism. If you look at the Rupus Nigra, that is electromagnetic. This is our Fitrah. This is our Qibla. I know I'm going to sound like a madman, but I will continue. So yeah, this is the second of the 3 verses regarding the Fitrah, in my opinion. Something that we once affirmed, perhaps before becoming conscious in this body, as we birthed into this world, in this body, something we affirmed as spiritual beings before this. And when someone reminds us this, that's why we say, yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah, I think that is true. I think you're right. That makes sense. That's what I think this is, the Fitrah. This affirmation of something that we once knew. Again, going back to the children. Ooh, where are they? Something that they affirmed once when they were young, but forgot after a while. That's what I think this is. Let me remove that now. 119. Okay. And this is the third one. More negative, so I'm not going to dwell on it. But this is the negative one, confirming what I'm showing you at the very beginning of the Quran, this corruption. Mufsidun, yeah, as Allah calls them. In truth, it is they who are the workers of corruption. The corrupters of the earth. Corrupting what? The electromagnetic natural way of the earth. Corrupting our electromagnetic beings. This is ultimately what it is. Corrupting both. But saying, what do they say? Inna nahnu muslihun. That we are the reformers. These are the people who are chemtrailing, saying that they're trying to protect the earth. They do the chemtrails, and when we're awakening, we follow the alternative media and we're like, oh, they're poisoning us. Yeah, that is poisoning us, because it's back to that, not Ren and Stimpy, not Homer Simpson, not any of those, but one of those dodo cartoon characters, doing silly things. Oh, let me bring that up as well. So what I think that they're doing is, let me bring up that, another reference to Man of Steel. Right, this quick story that I'm going to read, it's not even a story, but it's a quote from, is it Dawn of Justice? Okay, the follow-up to Man of Steel, yeah. I thought it was Man of Steel, but it is in the same movie, Batman versus Superman. So this is who they are. Let me take you back. The Kafirs, yeah? Allah calls them the Kafirs, the ones who cover up the truth. This is the beginning of the Quran. This is ultimately the duality, good versus evil. Those who cover up the truth and those who don't cover up the truth. Whatever that means. And truth can be painful and bitter and difficult to accept. But there are those who reject it, ignore it, mock it. And there are those who embrace it and think there is nothing more important in life than that. There is nothing more important in life than the truth. So that's one name given to them, the coverers of truth. This is another name. Oh, what do? They lie. Kadhib. That's one attribute. Yakdhibun. And what do they claim to be? That they are reforming it. This is actually what they do. So if you look at the chemtrails, yeah, they say that they're actually protecting the earth. But I think this is actually what they do and they have always done in the name of good. So let me give that story. So in Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice, the follow-up to Man of Steel, Jonathan Kent, which is the earthly father of Superman, shares a childhood memory with Clark. He says, as a boy, he worked all night with shovels to block floodwaters and save the family farm, earning a celebratory hero's cake. The next day, they discovered they had only redirected the water onto the neighboring Lang farm, washing it away, drowning their horses. This is how nature works. You can't change nature. When you change nature, there is consequences. When you change nature, there is consequences. This is my opinion. Again, I might speak again as a matter of fact. This is my view, and I'd be happy to hear alternative views. But this is ultimately what we're witnessing in the world today. That there is a way of the earth going from, when Musa was saved with Bani Israel, they came out, earth reset. Just like at Noah's time, new reset. A new, that's from one cataclysmic event, one apocalyptic event to the next, During that time, we go through cycles of the earth being in one way to another. Maybe really bright skies to darker skies, really bright hot sun to really cool sun. Perhaps all of this. There's far more than I first believed to exist and imagined to be true. But if you think about these cycles, it makes sense, like our heart going up and down, yeah? As within, so without. Our life is never going to be that robotic, neutral, flatline state. It's up and down. When we accept that, we can go with nature. When we're in the rhythm of nature, circadian rhythms, I think life is way better for sure. Everything is embraced in a much better way. So this story, I think, epitomizes what these people are ultimately about. And why they say too that they are the reformers. They are trying to correct things. Yeah, that's what they claim to be doing. That's what we hear on the news. These space mission trips, they're going to save Earth. We're going to go to Mars. We're going to recolonize Mars and all of this stuff. And it's all our fault. Apparently, it's all our fault. It's not our fault. It's their fault. We're not to blame for anything that's happened to us. Both us, individuals, families, communities, countries, the world. We're not to blame for anything. It's these people that are to blame for everything. They have corrupted the Fitrah. They have corrupted the signal. Because who are they following? Who are they following? They're following this one. 4119. This was probably the most popular during 2020 and 2021. ولا أضلنهم ولا أمنينهم ولا آمرنهم فلا يبتكن آذان الأنعام ولا آمرنهم فلا يغيرن خلق الله. There is خلق الله, creation of Allah. So yes, Fitrat Allah, Khalq Allah, synonymous, but please translate them for whenever they're used and not interchange them. The creation of Allah. So what is, I've just showed you the Fitrat Allah, right? Was it? No changing. La tabdila li khalqi Allah. No changing the creation of Allah. And what does he say? The adversary, the avowed enemy, the evil energy, however you want to call him, whatever you think he is or what it is. This is what was sworn. And I will lead them astray, and I will arouse desires in them, and I will command them, and they will slit the ears of the cattle. Again, hyperbole. This is a phrase. Perhaps immutation by cloning. Okay, this is indication. The first time I'm reading this from Brother Sam Gerns. An indication perhaps of the mutation by cloning and crossbreeding between species. It's not limited to just one thing, but yes, thank you for that. That is definitely part of it, especially during 2020-21. The chimerism, yeah, the merging of man and animals. Anyway, you go deep into this, another big rabbit hole, playing with the creation. Okay, those who know the stories of Noah, yeah, what happened right up until the reset, according to other scriptures again, for those who know the corruption of the DNA and the raping of the creation, the Fitrah, ultimately. So we're back there again, aren't we? That's why the story of Noah is so prevalent, because we're back there again. We're back to the pharaonic time. Those two probably the most important, these cataclysmic events by water. And yes, I do believe we're about to approach the one by fire. We are. In fact, we're there. We're there. This is these signs. If people can't see the signs, yeah, then they're already corrupted and asleep. I guess I'm not trying to judge them. But yeah, we pray that we stay amongst the lucid, amongst the vigilant, amongst the awake, the muttaqeen, the aware, those who are, the mu'mins, the true muslihun, those who are trying to reform themselves, because that's what we find ourselves in. We have to work to reform ourselves, reform our thinking. So these people who work not corruption in the land, these people, they are the ones who do that, right? I think I've made my point. So yeah, it's him that says that he will make us do this, and so you can tell who these people are, who they're following. Literally command. They're following commands, aren't they? I think you'll agree. Yes, you'll agree. They're following commands. So who is free? Who is actually the elite? It's funny your name, isn't it? Who is actually the elite? And who is actually following commands? Is she elite or is she following commands? Is she following commands? Yeah. And I will command them. وَلَآمُرَنَّهُمْ. And they will do this, yes. They will. This is ultimately corrupting the nature of creation. And I will command them again. There is again command. And they will change. And Allah says, لا تبديل لخلق الله فطرة الله فطر الناس عليها. And whoso takes the adversary, whatever you want to call him, shaitan, Satan, for an ally instead of Allah, has suffered a clear loss. What does he do? They are making agreements. They are shaking hands. They are making contracts. They are making covenants of the wrong kind. He promises them and arouses desires in them. But that's what this is. Illa ghurura. Illa. It's only deception. It's only delusion. It's only vanity. Yeah. It's only in vain. It's vanity. Right. That is the end of part 1. Just in case I don't edit this and I don't give you a nice intermission, take one. I think I need another one. Before I do, actually, let me quickly show you this. So yes, so this corruption, because this is all part of part 1. Let me just finish this. Yeah, it's a marathon. Yeah, everyone's gonna get tired. Everyone's gonna lose spirit. Everyone's gonna lose. Yeah, that's why I rate J again. Chasing the apocalypse, right? It's an endurance. It's an endurance. This is a marathon for sure. So much is true amongst the truthers. Everyone hasn't got everything right, but there is so much true amongst them. Let us lay aside every weight and let the sin which so easily ensnares us. Let us lay aside every weight. Yes, so much weight on my shoulders, on your shoulders, I'm sure. And the sin which easily ensnares us, let that weight also aside, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. Endurance. That's sabr, by the way. Endurance. It's not mere patience. Sabr. How does it go? الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Everyone is in loss, right? What's that surah at the very end? Inna atayna kal kawthar fasalli li rabbika wanhar inna shanika. No, I'm forgetting it. Yeah, you know which one I'm on about. The small surah at the end. Yeah, alladhina amanu wa amilu salihati wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. Everyone is in loss. Khusr. What is it? I'm gonna have to bring it up. Yep, here it is. Wal asr innal insana lafi khusr. This time, whatever this time is, this is the most elusive thing. What on earth is time? And the era, according to Google Dictionary. We understand, even if people haven't quite precisely got what this word is, it is to do with the crushing, as I've seen in the Quran, the crushing of the grapes, the pressing of time. It's a pressing time, yeah? It's a rapidly speeding. Actually, this might be the only confirmation. I'm glad I brought it up. This might be the only confirmation in the Quran of time speeding up, actually. Yes. It's implied. It can be interpreted. This is the only confirmation in the Quran of the speeding up of time. Absolutely, yes. The crushing of grapes. You'll find this. I won't go through this. I've done this in the past. It's on Patreon. The crushing of grapes. You'll find. That's where time is being crushed. And in that, man is in loss, except those who securely believe and are muslihun or salihad, do deeds of reformation. That's what it is. Do actions, yeah, of reformation. It's not the righteous ones. It's reappropriating stuff, because that's what it is. We find ourselves in disrepair, and entropy. All of this, we find those who are still reforming, correcting as things are undone, redoing things. That's what this is. وَتَوَاسَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاسَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. So I hope this gives you faith like it is me as I'm reading this, that yes, this is matching my reality as things are in disrepair, falling apart. And what do? There's another verse that I recited just yesterday. It's in one of the surahs from after Qaf. Powerful, man, powerful. Just looking at the Arabic, there's something very powerful about looking at just the Arabic words. The way it was phrased, if I can find it, now that I brought this up. Something about those with sabr, those with, which I say is endurance. It's not mere patience. It's endurance, stoicness, you could say, and counsel one another to endurance. That's what it is. That's what is being described right here. This endurance, yeah, holding on to the truth, that hot coal of truth, with endurance. Yep, here it is. So when we talk about counsel one another to sabr, endurance, yeah, fasbir kama sabra ulul azmi. So be not just patience, it's something of endurance. So be endurant as those of bone determination. Powerful. Fasbir kama sabra ulul azmi, as those of determination. This I think is connected to the word bone. So backbone maybe, yeah? Determination, being firm. Hopefully you get that. I thought I'd just quickly bring that up. That's what this is about. Yeah. Running this endurance race which we're in. I'll close that off. Well, actually, yep. So that's what this surah is about. Time is speeding up, I think. Actually, I think I just got my first confirmation of that. But be patient. Everything is in disrepair. Everything is in loss, in entropy. And this enemy to us has promised these promises, which is ultimately what the world is in following. Well, the leaders of this world, what they're following, who they're following, the covenants and the promises that they've made. So that is my little piece on the Fitrah at the very beginning of Surah Baqarah and this endurance race. And as I close this part, if I take you to page 268, so I might quickly give confirmation for those who want confirmation of solar eclipse being confirmed in the Quran. I was asked this on Telegram. I did do this. For me it's confirmed in the book, but I don't want to rush it. I might come back to this. The solar eclipse being the end. The solar eclipse, the one, not the mini solar eclipses we get, the proper solar eclipse. I'll come to that, the lunar eclipse, the solar eclipse. But for now, just about this endurance, page 268. Back down to earth. Right, racing the width. So yeah, I just brought up this, the race, yeah? The race, this endurance. The speeding up of time, everything in loss, right? This is a marathon, it's not a sprint. So this comes to mind, is something I put at the end of the book, which is running the... Well, let me put this bigger view, focus. Racing the width of the earth. So I won't read all of it, but I just want to bring up these two verses. And hurry to forgiveness from your Rabb, and a garden, its width, the width of the heavens and the earth, prepared for lil muttaqeen. Racing the width of the earth. And here is, so that one is hurry. وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ. وَسَارِعُوا. This one, سَابِقُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ. Can you see the difference? It's talking about the same thing. This is what the Quran does repeatedly. So when people get hung up on one word, they're losing the bigger picture, that it's another word that makes us think from a different angle. Because obviously hurrying and racing is different, but at the same time it's the same. وَالسَّارِئُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ سَابِقُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ. So we are supposed to hurry and race to the forgiveness from our Rabb, and a garden whose width is like the width of the heavens and the earth. Like, I think that is Hyperborea. I think it is. Prepared for those who securely believe in Allah and His messengers. That is the bounty of Allah. He gives to whom He wills, and Allah is the possessor of great bounty. May Allah make us amongst the successful. Let's call that the end of part 1. And if I don't put the intermission, take a break. Right, I just took another light break, and it's still dangerously close to when it gets difficult to think and to record any of this, but I'm going to carry on and I'm going to push on to get through the rest of this. Some of this, what I'm about to cover, should actually be covered separately alone, and perhaps even a more deeper job in terms of reflection, but yeah, anyway, such is the case. I don't have as much time to be this connected to the internet and to put out small videos regularly. So yeah, I hope the breaks help. I hope the different parts help for those who are looking to benefit from what it is that I'm sharing, because I'm trying to give you guys the most important thing, what I think is the most important thing, at least coming from me, who has studied this Quran the way I have, and all of the truth out there, and written the book that I have written, which Allah knows best what will happen to that. But yeah, definitely no hard work being done right now, that's for sure, because it's just not the conditions for that. And who knows what the future's like, who knows how much of the future's left, so I'll leave that completely into the Creator's hands. But anyway, pushing on, I'm about to go into some material that might make some people uneasy, some people. So, because if you've looked at the work that I've done, the book that I've written is purely on the Quran alone. And a lot of the work since learning through Hanif and moving into the direction of quickly removing a lot of falsehood, we come to this, right? Which is still not the correct translation here. Alone in the Quran, the translation is in Al-Quran alone. Yeah, if I take you here. So in, literally in Al-Quran, which is the reading. For those who don't know, the Quran is the reading. Like, it's also a dhikr. That's not the name, that we don't translate the name. A dhikr is the reminder, and Al-Quran is the reading. But we live in this funny upside down world where we have to flip everything downside up again. But yeah, it's not some mystical name. Al-Quran is called the reading, just like it's called the reminder. So anyway, when we go to people in the reading alone, which is the Quran, a name for the Quran, they do turn their backs in aversion. So people are averse. Yeah, people are averse. Yeah, people are averse to the Quran alone. When you mention anything, as I have done, as many of others have done brilliantly, that have helped us greatly as well, because the Quran is huge to cover for one person, and that's what I don't believe in anymore. Well, anyway, I don't believe in when people ask what's the best translation, I think everyone has said the same thing. There is no best translation, and that's why I'm happy to use Brother Sam Gerrans, because yeah, he has got a really good reality picture. Yeah, really good balanced reality picture. Therefore, even if the specific words are not defined as specifically as well as I'd like it to be, as well as an engineer would appreciate it to be, yeah, like Dr. Omar Ramahi, he's still got the right gist of everything, where we need to see it. So anyway, so I'm about to go into some readings where it's not from the Quran alone. So I need to quickly put this kind of I need to lay this quick foundation or disclaimer that yes, it's true that when we go to people with the Quran alone, because that's what it's in Al-Quran alone, yeah, they are averse, yeah, it is the most challenging for people. So I'm just quickly putting that out there. Let me close that. Yes, it is confirmed in the Quran that when you go to people with the Quran alone, it is most challenging, and it is these NPCs, not the minority, the people who seem to be just agents of the Matrix, for lack of a better definition, ultimately agents of the Matrix. We can call them whatever you like, but yeah, these are the ones that have this thing. In fact, I had it. No, wait, what happened when the first time someone said it to me? Yeah, I felt an uneasiness, but I knew I had to push beyond that, and I needed to know more. Yeah, so that's what we're used to doing, right? That's what we're used to doing. This feeling of uneasiness in our mind, this cognitive dissonance that takes place, but we're used to pushing beyond that barrier. And that takes, again, time, energy, effort. And as Dr. Jack Cruz says, it's difficult to help someone when educating them about the truth of their reality, which is in his case health, educating them, yeah, it just what is it? I can't remember exactly how it goes. Yeah, he said they're dependent upon the salaries of their jobs depends upon them not understanding what Dr. Jack Cruz is trying to say. Their salaries depend upon them not understanding the truth. Yeah, so most people are dependent upon not knowing the truth, nor being attracted to the truth, nor willing to understand the truth. That's what most people are. This is again back to the Matrix. Yeah, they will fight to the death to defend the Matrix. So anyway, so that's what we see here. Once again, the Quran confirms the reality of the truth. That's why I love the Quran. They do turn their backs in aversion. But what is actually being said is, so again, taking the holistic view, taking the bigger picture view, what is actually being said is, what will trump the Quran? Yeah, it's true that they turn their backs in aversion. It's true that the Quran alone is most challenging for people. But what is actually being said is what is being said here. Then in what narration? Then in what narrative? Yeah, hadith. So that one's Quran, the reading. So this is another adjective, right? The narrative. Then in what narrative? فَبِأَيِّ حَدِيثٍ بَعْدَ اللَّهِ وَآيَاتِهِ يُؤْمِنُونَ. Then in what narrative after Allah and His exceptional or miraculous evidences will they be secure in? So when you put those two to combined, what is actually being said is, what is going to trump the Quran? If you put this together, yeah, they turn their backs in aversion. It's very challenging, the Quran alone. But what is actually being said is, then in what narrative after Allah and His ayat, which again, going back to the signal, yeah, because not everyone knows Arabic, not everyone is clued up on this Quran, is back to this nature. Yeah, it's back to this nature. That is it. Truth, not covering up the truth, which matches nature, because that's what the Quran says. As within, as within, so without, as above, so below. It all mirrors the ayat within the heavens and the earth, as well as within the book, as well as within ourselves. These three ayat. By the way, so when I say I just took a quick light break, it doesn't mean I'm not talking about the weight of the break. I'm talking about daylight. Yeah, daylight, because that's our sickness, by the way. Indoors, this artificial light. And yeah, ultimately this was my conclusion. All of our diseases are due to the destruction or the disconnection of these three ayat. The heavens and the earth, that's one ayat. The Quran ayat, you can call it sacred scripture from the heavens, that's the second light. And the third light being ourselves. That's ultimately my opinion, what all diseases are based from. Disconnection to the fitrah, back to the signal. Disconnection to this signal. Disconnection to the fitrah. Yeah. Hopefully you're getting what I'm trying to bring across here today. So, then in what narrative after Allah and His ayat? The reason why I said this, because you might ask, what is proofs? What is ayat? I've just listed them to you. It's the three lights. The three lights being within us, outside of us, in nature, and in sacred scripture. These are the three lights. When we are disconnected, or these three are being destroyed, that is actually the disease, and that's what we're witnessing in the earth right now, as well as within ourselves. But anyway, back to this. Quran alone is most challenging, and this, for me, confirms that it's not eliminating other narratives. It's saying after the Quran. It's saying what will trump the Quran. That's what it is. It's not saying that, oh, don't believe any other narratives. It's saying what will trump the Quran. So therefore we are, in my opinion, personally speaking, you can take it or leave it, we are back to what I used to be taught. That if it is in alignment with the Quran, we take it. If it is in opposition to the Quran, then we put it aside. Yeah. So that's how I do see this, because I'm about to read some things that you might think, oh, this isn't from the Quran, but I'm going to show you, inshallah. In fact, I'm not even sure what I'm going to come across, so I might have to eat my words. So yeah, hope you will join me in opening your mind. As it says here, books open your mind, broaden your mind, and strengthen you as nothing else can. I do believe so. It's not just about nature. It's not just about our nature and nature. It is about books, in my opinion. The more sacred, the more secure, the better. But yeah, it is about that. So yeah, hope you will be willing to join me in broadening your mind to other Asatirul Awwaleen. Yeah, Asatir, stories. Can you see that? For those who are not familiar, I've said this before. Story. Let me take it there again. Store, seen, ta, and re. Right here. Story. Legends. Are legends not stories? A traditional story, sometimes popularly regarded as historical but unauthenticated. Yeah, whatever that means. History, yeah. So there you go again. Legends are stories. So for those who are familiar, Asatirul Awwaleen. When we talk about what we talk about, like I am, Hyperborea, yeah. Other legends that don't come through the religion of Islam, yeah. But some maybe a fringe narrative. Some people say, you know what, I was taught this traditionally in my village, or this thing. Yeah, what you're saying rings a bell to what I was taught. These are the disappearing or hardly spoken of legends. So that's what Allah says here. And when our ayat again, these lights, are quoted, tutla, are quoted to them, they say, we have heard. If we wish, we could speak like this. These are only legends of the former peoples. This is what the kafirs say. Those who are trying to escape the world. Leave the world behind. That's what they say. But I hope you can join me in opening your mind to some more stories, some more legends. Okay, let me close those. Right, now because I'm about to read from Rumi's Masnavi, because I want to read this, how Adam was created out of a handful of earth brought by an angel. So because it's going back to this signal, right? Going back to this signal at the center of the earth, this magnetic signal, because we're taught to point ourselves to a black cube, whereas our innate compasses is directing us elsewhere, naturally, somewhere naturally, truly existing, that is being forgotten of. And it's true. It's always been true, but it's spoken of as legends. So this is the magnetic mountain, as I said, that Musa went to, At-Tur Sinin, Mount Sinai, this tower. So this is our Qibla, right? So this is where we're supposed to be directing ourselves, and this is where we forget to direct ourselves, unless perhaps we are more connected to nature. And I'm gonna say why, because I think that it was the case that Adam was taught the names of the animals, and these animals are showing us, that they know about, where to go, where to migrate to, what to do, where to their innate compasses are way more in tune than ours. Although ours are, there is something that resonates, there is something that rings. But we are the ones in difficulty doing what it is that we were designed to do. For good reason. This is the test. We have the gifts, but at the same time we have the challenges as well. So I'm going to read, because I wanted to know for some time. I've always been curious. What is spirituality? True spirituality. Been trying to understand this because everyone's seeking this, and it's clear that the New Age is all kind of, yeah, whatever. I'm not even going to speak about it. Yeah, there's great stuff everywhere. No, not denying that. But everyone talks about this spirituality. What is spirituality? And the conclusion is, yeah, like my brother used to say, Imran, light is truth. Truth is light. Nature is truth. Truth is nature. Yeah, whichever way you... That's why these ayat mirror nature, truth, light. They're all interchangeable. Nature, truth, light. They're all interchangeable. So we want to know, who are we? Where did we come from? Where are we going? You know, when so much is proven to be false and so much deception, I think it's good to hold on to that which, the bigger picture, which is true. So I wanted to know, Rumi, who's quoted a hell of a lot by those who love Islam and those who hate Islam equally. That's the funny thing. People love quoting Rumi. Why is that? Isn't he a Muslim? Isn't he a student of the Quran? Yeah. Like I said, people who are not religious and don't even like Islam, they love reading Rumi and quoting Rumi. Why? So let's have a look at what he says about the story of how Adam was created out of a handful of earth and brought by an angel. Then after this, after I've read this, it's not long, and I'm going to go through Quran verses that he brings up as well to show you whether it's in alignment or not. Then I'm going to go to, I'll wrap up with Adam being taught the names of the animals.
That was good.
16 years. What? 16 years. And 5 months, that's the count.
What the hell are you talking about?
The iterations. It's a distress call. Plea for help, a mayday. If the count is right, it's been playing over and over for 16 years.
Someone else stranded here?
Maybe they came for them.
Someone came. Why is it still playing?